Okay, good evening, everybody. So before we start, anybody has any questions before I jump in today? Oh, Jyoti, yeah, we just figured
Yeah,
out.
I have a question.
Uma just figured out it was you. Okay,
No,
Madhavi, go
Madhvi.
ahead. Yeah, I know. Madhavi, go ahead.
Yeah, in SQL, when I connect a master table to the other table, and I use foreign key, but it was showing the error. There is no parent key. There is a child key, something like that.
When you try to insert, there is an error, or when you actually try to create a foreign key.
When I run the program, that time it's showing.
What program? What do you mean by program? Are you trying to insert?
So,
When you try to insert the data, that's when you're getting the error?
no, not time.
Okay, then at what time?
I insert and after that I run the query.
Okay. So that means, first of all, query meaning, are you talking about select query, right? Right?
Yes,
Okay. Now,
yes.
before you run the select query, let's talk about it for a second. When you get that kind of error, so when you try to select it, you are getting an error that, hey, I'm sorry, I can't join these two tables because I am seeing some values here that do not match here or something, right?
Yes.
So that means your referential integrity has not been set up properly, because you should not have any data like that, right, Madhavi?
Okay.
You're not getting it?
No, actually I checked everything then because when I create the foreign key should be primary key, right?
No. Primary key in one table will be the foreign key in other table. So customer ID in customer table is the primary key. But the same,
Yes, yes.
customer ID in orders table is the foreign key. Because this one
Okay.
references customer ID in customer table. Remember?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Am I confusing you?
Okay.
Or you're confused? See here, alter table orders, modify customer ID, integer, references customer of customer ID.
Yeah, yeah. The same thing I did, but I don't know why
Okay,
it's not
we will
working.
look at it. I really
Then
wanted to see it right now, but it takes another, I really want to jump into today's topic, and then I'll come back and not only for you, for anyone else. Actually, other than Madhavi, anyone else need my attention? I'm going to spend time with her after the class. Anyone else? Okay. So I'll be jumping into today's topic with the assumption that you did decent stuff in the database concepts. Okay. Now let's talk about it. So we talked about the database concepts, and then how to connect to the database, and how to create a schema, create a table, how to read from the table, update the records, delete the records, dropping the tables, modifying the structure of the tables. We looked at all of that, right? But now we are going to this separate application, separate client application here called SQL Developer, right? So I'm doing all of this. Well, the data exists in the database, agree. We all agree with that. But then how do we retrieve the data that is inserted in the database? Or how can I insert the data into the database, but not from a tool like SQL Developer? Okay, I don't want any database specific tools. I want to be able to do it from my Java program. How will I be able to connect to the database using my Java program and then create some data there or retrieve the data out from there? How can I do it is the main point here. Okay. And then, as I told you, there are so many database vendors. Oracle is one of them, right? Oracle is one of them. And this tool is Oracle specific. But from Java standpoint of view, from our application, we may want to interact with more than one database. From Java, we need to be able to interact with Oracle. We need to be able to interact with DB2, IBM DB2 database. And we may need to be able to interact with Microsoft SQL Server. Right? And we may need to be able to interact with other databases like Sybase, MySQL, etc. Right? How can we do it? Well, that is where a concept comes into picture called JDBC. So these Java people, let me step back here for a second. So Oracle has its own way of connecting to the Oracle database. Oracle has provided its tools, like the SQL Developer is Oracle specific tool that lets you connect to the Oracle database. Similarly, DB2 is providing some tools using which you will be able to connect to DB2. Microsoft SQL Server is providing certain tools using which you can connect to Microsoft SQL Server, right? So what Java has provided is, it has provided a seamless interface. Okay? All these while I've been telling you interface, right? That's a Java keyword interface. From today onwards, the definition of interface will be changed. Here, I've been talking about the concept called polymorphism. You can expose one public API, one interface, and you can have several implementations to it. Right? So they have taken that concept and introduced this interface called JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. But it's not one Java interface. There are several interfaces that are provided by this high-level interface called JDBC. Because Java does not want to provide a way to connect to Oracle. Java does not want to provide a way to connect to DB2. So earlier, that was the trend. Since Java came up with this solution, before Java, the thought was that, hey, I will provide all the connectors to be able to connect to all these databases. So Java people do all the hard work and provide, hey, use this connector to connect to Oracle, use this other connector to connect to database, use this other connector to connect to Microsoft SQL Server. Java did not do that approach. What Java did is, hey, I'm providing a high-level interface, meaning I will only provide the interfaces that all the Java applications to use to connect to any database. It doesn't matter which database it is. But it will say that all the Java applications can use those interfaces. Okay. Whenever I said interface, So far, what did you understand? It does not have any implementation. It says that something like this, get customers. Okay? And then you return list of customers. But you never actually do write the code to implement this. You'll only say that there is a method name called get customers which returns list of customers. That's all you said it. JDBC does exactly same thing. So JDBC interface only provides the interface. Java people say that, hey, all the database people, now I'm giving you the interface that all the Java applications will use that interface to interact with the database. And now you go and implement it. So it provided the JDBC interface, right? Now, Oracle people, they have taken that interface and then they created the implementation here. I mean, they created the interface because they know the best about Oracle database. So using Java code again, they implemented this JDBC interface. Now they use Java API. Java has a low level. As I told you, from your machine, how do you connect with the database? You need the IP address of that machine, you need the port number of the machine, and you open up low level some connections, TCP IP connections, okay? They use these database vendors like Oracle, DB2 and Microsoft SQL Server. What they did is they have taken this JDBC interface, they implemented it. Now that does the real work. Now use the JDBC interface. As a Java developer, what you do is you use JDBC. You use a Java application, and Java application use the JDBC interface. But who is providing the implementation? I don't provide. All the implementation is provided by Oracle, and it will be shipped to us as a jar file. As a jar file. Jar file is a Java archive file like your JUnit. It's a library, right? So these people have implemented JDBC and they will provide you the jar file. That is called JDBC driver. That is called JDBC driver. Yes, that is called JDBC driver. So they will provide you the JDBC driver. Now use that JDBC driver in your Java application, but you don't have to, since JDBC driver has the implementation for the JDBC interface, and you always code to interface, right? That is the one mantra that I've been chanting, saying that, hey, JDBC, interface, code to interface, right? You will only use interface. Here also, you will never use the classes that are provided by Oracle. You will only use this interface. But under the hood, who provides the real implementation? Those classes provided by Oracle. Now, the beauty is that DB2 people also, they implemented JDBC interface. So they have their own implementation. And Microsoft SQL Server has their own implementation. But we never use any of their classes. We only use the interface and magically the corresponding implementation, polymorphically, right? So, because JVM cares about the type at runtime, right? So then, it will use whatever the implementation that you provided. So whichever the JDBC driver that you provided, you may have provided JDBC driver from Oracle, you may have provided JDBC driver from DB2, you may have provided JDBC driver for Microsoft SQL Server. It doesn't matter. Now the beauty is your Java applications always use JDBC interface. You don't use any of these implementation classes. So the point is your code is portable across multiple or all the databases. Your code is portable across all the databases. You know what it means? It means that the same code without having to change anything can be used to point to database. Same code can be used to point to Microsoft SQL Server. So if you ever have to switch the databases, your JDBC code will help you. You don't have to rewrite all of your programs. Okay? So you will use JDBC driver. And JDBC is an interface. Who provides implementation? The actual database vendors themselves, like Oracle provides it, DB2 provides it, Microsoft SQL Server provides it. So when something is changed from Oracle 11G to 12C, if something is changed, right, only Oracle people will know. And obviously Oracle people are the best at understanding Oracle. DB2 people, whoever work for IBM, they are the best at DB2. So they know how to implement this interface the best. So all Java provides is bunch of interfaces and bunch of methods, bunch of classes, and that's it. Bunch of interfaces, in fact. Okay? And you will use that interface, and then under the hood, the implementation will be provided by the JDBC driver. So the architecture is that from your Java app, from your Java application, you will always use JDBC, and using this JDBC, you will be able to connect to multiple databases. You can even switch from one database to another database, or one database to another database. And who provides implementation for them? These people. This is JDBC jar. JDBC jar will be provided by these database vendors. Oracle will provide a jar file, that's JDBC jar or JDBC driver. It will give you JDBC driver. Okay? It will give you JDBC driver that you can use that provides the implementation for your JDBC. That's it. Any questions? Let's look at what is the JDBC interface and how we can implement it, etc. There are these drivers, JDBC drivers perspective. There are 4 ways to connect the drivers actually. There are 4 types of drivers. I'm not going to get into the details, but we use a driver that uses complete Java. So under the hood, if you look at this one, right, this SQL developer under the hood, it opens up some TCP/IP low-level connections to connect to the database, and then it will, when you execute a query, it will send some packets network level, and then it brings back some packets. I mean, TCP/IP level, right? So it does all of that, and all of that is implemented using Java itself in these drivers. That's why we call it pure Java driver. That's a type 4 driver. So anyways, go to, first what you need to do is, you need to download this Oracle JDBC driver. So go to download section, and then come on. And then go to drivers, okay, and then JDBC drivers. Use whatever the database version that you're using. 12C is the latest version of database, but we are using 11G in our case, XC, right? And then just click on this one. and then you log into oracle.com with your OTN, accept, and then you pick up this jar, OJDBC6 jar. Okay, I already logged into Oracle OTN, actually, that's what it's called, Oracle Technology Network. I already downloaded it, but I'll show you again. Okay, this is the OJDBC6. Let me open up with WinZip. If you look at it, so look at it. This is the package, Oracle JDBC.driver. So there is a class called, these are all .class file. You know that the jar file, we are looking at the class files. I don't want to really zoom in for this one. You can look at it because I'll be quickly switching it. See here, Oracle driver. See here. So you have these hundreds, may not be hundreds, thousands of classes. Okay, under the hood it uses these many classes, but we never interact with any of this one. Okay, all we say is we tell JVM, hey, where to start, what is the driver, what is the JDBC driver to start with, and once we tell that JVM what is our driver, as I told you, Oracle driver is a class name that it starts with, this guy. After that point, you just use you just use JDBC API. I'll show you JDBC API. Okay, so now let me create a new project here. I'll call this JDBC Feb 2015, but I want to rename this to just JDBC later on. Use an execution environment, C7. That's it. Okay. Now I'm creating a folder here called lib library. That is where I'm going to put my jar files. That's where I'm going to put the jar file. Okay. Now, do you know how to, when we talked about JUnit, I must have told you about the jar file and the class path, right? So how do I add this one to the class path so that JVM will have access to all the classes within this jar file? Jar file is nothing but a zip file, a compressed file that has bunch of class files in it, binary files. Okay? So how do I do it? Couple of ways to do it. Right click here, build path, add to build path, or go to this project properties here, Java build path here, libraries, see here, you can add. Okay. Once you add, you can go to this reference libraries and then click on this guy. You can see the whole package like your packages, like how we create our package, Oracle JDBC driver, and then you can see all the bunch, thousands of classes, or probably hundreds of classes. Okay. Yes, we can use OJDBC 6 with JDK 8 too. We should be able to. No problem at all.
Okay, what is the latest one? Is that 6 or something else?
Sorry?
See, OJDBC 6 can be used with Oracle, with JDK 8, that's fine. But what is the latest OJDBC?
I think that is the latest one.
That's the latest one.
Minimum requirement is JDK 6. You need to have a JDK 6 and above to be able to use this one.
Okay, no, but what I'm saying is this, that with JDK 8, the maximum OJDBC that I can have is also JDBC 6.
You got it.
Right? There's nothing that has come after that?
That's precisely right. Yeah. Because there is no other best website than Oracle to talk about that. Okay. So So we downloaded this OJDBC6 jar. Now let's write down first class. Let me create a package, right? Strings. Sorry, I thought I'm good. Thank you, thank you. Let me do that. Okay. That's a JDBC. That's good enough. com.javaanchor.training. Yeah, all of that I should have given, but that's fine. Okay. Let me do JDBC demo. Then using public static void main. Now, here, the whole JDBC API is actually part of your JDK. You don't need a separate libraries. You don't need separate jar files to bring JDBC API. Okay? So here, few steps are there. The first step is load the JDBC driver. Load the actual first class called JDBC driver. So load the JDBC driver. What it means is you are telling JVM that within this whole class, right? Probably, not probably, as I just told you, your Java application can use JDBC API to be able to connect to any database, right? And this one and the next line are the only 2 lines of code that's probably different for each database. Okay, I'll show you. So first load the JDBC driver. So whatever the first major class within this one, Oracle will tell you that one. Okay, there is an interface called driver actually in JDBC. So JDBC people have created interface for Java developers, people like us who want to use JDBC to talk to databases. Similarly, this JDBC interface they gave this to database vendors too, right? They have to give this JDBC database vendors too, so that they will implement and help us to be able to connect to the database. So what we'll do is that main class, we have to load it into JVM. Actually, starting from JDK 6, you don't need to do this one. I will show you still, but you don't need to do this one. The next one is establish the connection. Okay, you give the connection properties like, hey, what's your database name here? What's your schema name? What's the username and password? What is the IP address of the database? Where is it located? In this case, it's localhost, right? And then what is the port number? We talked about these details earlier, right? Here when we are connecting the connection, see here. So what is the username and what is the password? What's the host name? What's the port number? What's the database name, etc., right? So we have to give the same details and then establish the connection. So the next one is establish the connection. And then once the connection has been established, okay, now what you do is, this connection itself is an interface, by the way. Everything is an interface, as I told you, okay? Connection itself is an interface. From connection, you can get handle to another interface called statement. So statement is an interface that will help you execute your statements. What is a statement here? Well, all of these are statements. These are all statements, right? So all of your SQL statements will be executed using this interface called statement. Okay? And then once you get handle to, so you have to get handle to that interface, right? Get handle to statement interface. And once you get the statement, now you execute your real query. Execute the SQL query. SQL statement, right? Or SQL query, yeah. Okay, execute the query. And now, once you get the, in the case of select, okay, if you're selecting all the orders from database, then what you will get here is that, okay, you will get like this from database, right? So from database, this is what will be given to you in the Java code. Now, how many orders are there? 5 orders, but later you may get 3 orders, later you may get 300 orders, right? So you have to loop through, it gives you handle to this data, and now you loop through these rows and then do whatever you need to do it. Okay, you can print it, you can create the objects and pass it on to someone else, you can do whatever you need to do it. Okay, let me show you. So the first step is load the JDBC driver.
Venkat, before you advance a little more, one thing I actually forgot.
Absolutely.
That is, see, for doing that reference, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for doing that referencing of that JDBC 6.jar, so I should just, I'm just recapping the steps. First, I should download it to any directory of my preference.
Exactly.
Wherever JDBC
you can,
steps, and then I'll come to here under the project directory and click on this reference, and from here it'll I'll be able to right click and pull it out from there.
Once you get the jar file. Once you get the jar file, okay, go ahead.
Okay, and it is in my computer at some directory.
Okay.
And then in order to really bring it under this reference library.
Oh, okay. Well, what you need to do
under
is, first, what I highly recommend is, so let's say C show one is where you downloaded, okay? What I highly recommend is that bring it over to your project directory. Wherever, so you have your workspace, right? You created a separate project, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'll bring it over in project directory.
Exactly. Okay. And then
okay.
Put it somewhere there. I created a folder called lib. Lib stands for library or libraries.
Under the project.
Exactly.
Okay.
I created a folder and then drop it there.
Okay, but you're not, so you can just under the project, I'll follow your convention. Under the project there is SRC and down below actually lib. Okay, I got it. I'll do it, I'll put it there.
Right.
Okay, so I'll just physically copy, like external to my,
exactly.
To my,
once you
STS.
physically copy the jar file, then what you do is right click, build path, and now you are telling, of course, here I don't have it, configure build path, and then you just remove it, right? Now what you do is right click, build path, come on, what happened? Add to build path. Okay.
Okay, add to build
then
path.
You will get it into reference library.
In the reference library. Okay.
You may ask me, why am I doing this way? Hey, why do I have to? I just downloaded it. I have them in the downloads folder. Why are you asking me to copy it into the project? Now you are not depending on any external jar files, is my point mainly, or you are not depending on any external files. If I give you this folder, or if I check in this code here, right? Okay, at home, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to get the jar file also because you are already getting the jar file. That is the reason I'm doing it. Okay. Okay. So how do I load the JDBC driver? As I said, starting from JDK 6, you don't need it, but I'll still show you how we used to do it. So there is a class, right? Java.lang.class. Here, there is a method called forName. I think we talked about this class.forName when we talked about reflection. This is where we provided java.lang.string in double quotes, right? And this is how you will load that particular class into JVM. So here, the main class is oracle.jdbc.driver. So the fully qualified name is oracle.jdbc.driver. Actually, I have it here. Oracle.jdbc.driver. This is how you specify. Well, it throws an exception that, hey, what if I don't have this? What if I fat fingered here like this? What if I give like this? So class may not exist, right? At that time, it will throw an error called class not found exception. So click here, add throws, okay? Because I don't want to handle that. Try catch block, I don't want to do that. So this is how I'm loading this main class into JVM. From this point onwards, now you can use your JDBC interface. Okay? Now, to start the JDBC interface, once you load this driver, right? So all the drivers under JDBC are managed by a class called driver manager. So there is a class called driver manager in JDBC. So driver manager has a method called get connection. Okay. So what we are saying is, can you please connect me to the database using these arguments? What are those arguments? I'll tell you. So this first argument is the JDBC URL. Here we talk about which server are we connecting to, which port number are we connecting to, what is the port number, what is our schema name that we are pointing to, all the details will be given here. And then this one is username. What is our username? OMS, right? And then password is also OMS, I believe, yeah. And then this one, the first one is called JDBC URL. It's called JDBC URL. JDBC URL. Now if you look at it, so this is how it looks. Let me write down here. So it looks like this. JDBC : Oracle : tin : at localhost : 1521 : XE. Now let me explain each one of them here. Okay. So first of all, this is called JDBC URL, right? This whole thing is called JDBC URL. This whole thing is called JDBC URL. It has a certain structure. The first one is JDBC itself. Okay. This is constant always because you're using JDBC protocol. Okay. That's what it says. And then : is a standard separator between the protocols, ports, etc. Okay. And now the next one is Oracle. Oracle is whatever they actually call it sub protocol, but every database will have their own pretty much own name. Oracle, JDBC : Oracle for Oracle, JDBC : MySQL for MySQL, etc. And then : and then what type of driver are you using? There is something called thin driver, meaning you don't need anything. All you need is a simple jar file, and it works on every single machine seamlessly because the entire JDBC has been implemented within this jar file, and that is written in Java. As you see it, all of these jar file is nothing but it's Java class files, right? And then it is implemented in Java, which means that it works in Mac, it works in Unix, it works in Windows, it works in Linux, like exactly how our class files are portable. So this is portable across any operating system or all the operating systems. Okay, but what is your driver type? There are, as I told you, there are 4 drivers. We are using the 4th driver called thin driver. Okay, and then colon. Now tell me, where did you put it? So at your server name. So wherever you install your database. So here in this case I'm saying localhost, meaning database is installed in my machine itself. Okay, what is the port number? Colon, this is my port number, 1521. Okay, and what's your SID, Oracle System ID, right? Oracle SID, or your Oracle SID, the SID that we have used it here. If you look at it, see it? So this is the Oracle SID. So we need to provide this one, we need to provide this one, we need to provide this one, and exact same order. We need to provide username and password, exact same order. So what is your SID? Well, our SID is XE here. That's it. So using all of these parameters, can you connect me to the database? Can you please open? You know what is connecting actually? It's actually opening here, going to this guy here, and then provide your username and password, and then actually connect. It will open up like this. This is what exactly happens under the hood, and we are trying to do the same thing through Java now. Okay, so I don't need to hard code this guy. Sorry, I don't need to remember this guy. Let me do it. Okay. So this is my whole JDBC URL, username and password. And now driver manager, I'm asking, hey driver manager, you know all the drivers that are registered with you. This is the driver. We registered this driver with this driver manager class. Okay. And then it throws SQL exception. I'll talk about what is SQL exception, and then that's a crazy exception handling in JDBC. I'll talk about that. Every statement in JDBC.
Venkat, what is XC again?
Sorry, XC is our SID.
The XC
is our SID.
Oh, SID.
Database.
Okay. Got it.
Driver manager.get connection will give you handle to connection. See here. So let's get handle to connection. Connection con or whatever, right? And what is this connection? This is not in java.lang package, that is why it did not recognize it. So click here and then you can say import java.sql.connection. Look at that, java.sql.connection. Now connection is an interface. If you look at it, connection is an interface. Who provide the implementation? Well, that's provided by this JDBC driver. Now we got handle to connection. Okay. Now once we get handle to connection, now let's get handle to the statement. How do we get it? There is a method here. See all of these methods, right? So it is saying that if you want to get handle to statement, use a method called create statement. Okay, but who is doing the actual dirty work? Well, it's the actual work is done by this JDBC driver, create statement, right? And this gives you handle to another interface called statement. Now, okay. Import, oops, Java beans, I'm sorry. Java.sql. We got handle to the statement where we can execute the statement. If you want to do a DDL, please go ahead and do it. If you want to do a DML, please go ahead and do it. If you want to do a DCL, please go ahead and do it. You can execute any of the queries that we did here through Java. using this single interface called statement. Okay. Once we get the statement, but who provided the implementation here? When I say statement dot, in my first example, I'm going to show you how to retrieve the data from database. Okay. So statement has a method called execute query, and you can write your SQL query here in the string. Okay. But who is actually going to the database and then who is actually connecting to the database and executing this query and getting the data and give you back the data? That's all done by here. This is all. See here, connection is an interface. Statement is an interface. Now, execute query will give you handle to result set. There is another interface called result set. Result set will hold and handle to all of this one. Result set is exactly like our iterator. There is a java.sql.result set. Statement.execute query will give you handle to another interface called result set. This is interface, this is interface, this is interface. All of these are interfaces. Provided implementation is provided by these Oracle guys, and it's been given to you in the form of JDBC driver. Well, I got the result set. Result set is exactly like your iterator. Okay, so while result set has a method called next, meaning if there are any rows for me to execute, then go into that. Each time you go in, result set will give you handle to one row of data that you got it. Okay. In fact, we didn't write this query though. Let's write this query. Select star from customer. Okay. Select star from customer. We can write simple your query here, and then you're getting handle to the result set. Result set is exactly like your iterator. You go through it. Each time it gives you one row of data. Second time again it will give you this row. Third time it gives you again this one. Fourth time it will give you fifth time. Okay. Now, once you go into that, this result set again has lot of methods. Get string. Okay. Get string, get int, get date, get double. What you're doing here is that you give your column name and it gives you the value of it. It is giving you essentially this table, right? So is this particular customer table? No, right? Okay. Correct. The table column name is customer underscore ID, first name, last name, address, city, state, zip code. These are all column names, right? So now let me give you customer underscore ID. This is the column name. And then, oh, this is ID. ID is defined as integer, right? So rs.getString will give you a string representation of the value, but here it's not a string here. So we have to use rs.getInt. Okay. Now use customer underscore ID. Now it is giving you an int customer ID. Meaning it is giving you this value for the first time. And now next is string for me. It's a varchar 2, right? First name, last name, address, city, state, zip. These are all strings now, right? So now I'll do rs.getString and then column name. Column name is first underscore name. String first name. Then the next column value is last name, rs.getString. Last name, right? Address. Again, this is a string. So There are a lot of other methods. In fact, there are a lot of other ways to get it too. One of the ways is, this is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, column 7. You can get based on the 1, 2, 3, 4s also. But you never want to rely on them, because today I said select star from customer. Tomorrow, if I say select address, comma, city, comma, if I do it like that, then my order is changed, right? So never rely on the order. So always rely on the column name. Okay, we got the address and city, state, zip. And then we get the zip. That's it. Now we got everything. And it will go through again next time, right? Again, do you have more records here? Again, it will go to while loop and say, hey, do you have more records? Do you have next record? Oh yeah. Then it will give you, it will be pointed to the next record, which is second record. And then again, now it will give you, oh, to Venkata, Krishna, 987 here. And then city is, sorry, 987 Frank Street will be address. And then city will be Novi, etc. Okay? And then again, third time, UMA details. And then again, fourth time it tries to go rs.next. Do you have more records for me to read? Oh no, I don't have, I'm done. Oh, then it will come out of the while loop. That's how it, like while loop. I don't need to tell you now, right? After this, now. So I can say, I'll say first name equal to, I'll only print the first name. And then I'll print city. No, I'll print the address. I can print all the details also, but I'm just showing you. And then I can also print zip code. Ooh, it went there. It opened up a new connection there. Okay. And executed all of this, executed this SQL query there. It got the records. It got 3 rows. It went into this while loop 3 times. First time it got Uri as a first name, 123 Main Street as address, zip code is 12345. Is that right? Yes. And then Venkata, 987 Frank Street, 99911. Uma, 987 Uma Street. Oh, we put Uma Street. Okay. And then 98765. Make sense? So this is how we connect to the database. We get handled to the statement. This is all standard. As I told you, this is how we kick off the driver. This is how we load the driver into JVM. But as of JDK 6, you don't need it. So even if you don't have it, your code perfectly works fine. Okay, you don't need to load the JDBC driver. What it does is, it will look at all the classes that are available to JVM, and it will look for a class that implements driver interface. And then it will register itself into the driver manager or with the driver manager. It will register itself as a driver manager. When you ask a driver manager to get connection, then it will look at the corresponding driver and say that, hey driver, can you help me connect to this database using this JDBC URL and username and password for me? Oh yeah, here is the connection. Now once I get the connection, you create the statement, etc. etc. Okay? As I told you, I want you to pay attention to this guy here, this line of code, connection con equal to driver manager at get connection. What happens at this point is that you are physically establishing a connection like this. Then, okay, and then every single time you open it, you're opening a new connection like this. And it does a lot of things under the hood. You do not want to leave the connections open. Every database will have a finite number of connections. So every database will serve several people concurrently. It will provide, see, as I told you, every person will not have a separate database like how we have in the class today. All of you have databases installed on your machines, but once we join any company, right? Once you go start your job, the whole team, let's say all 20 of us today are in one team. We will be pointing to not more than one database. All of us will be pointing to one database. Okay, so concurrently it will open a connection for you, it will open a connection for you, it will open a connection for you, and database will have only finite number of connections. You do not want to misuse them. Once you are done with your statement execution, close the connection. Then what it does is it will open up, it will close all the low-level TCP IP connection details, etc., so that it can use for someone else to be able to connect once you are done with it. So once you are done executing it, your database connection is very, very, very important. Once you are done executing your queries, once you are done with that, please close the connection. And you absolutely want to make sure to close this connection no matter what happens, even if there is an exception in this line of code. Maybe there is no column called city, but even in that case, whatever the connection that's opened here in this line of code has to be closed. So what's the best block of code that I need to put it? What's the best block of code that I need to use to be able to do that? Finally, excellent. So we have to put it in finally block. Yes. Yes, good job. So we have to put that in finally block. Okay? So, and I'll come back and talk about in fact, the class not found exception is no longer thrown because we removed that load the JDBC driver. This step is not required starting from JDK 6. Okay? And then, as I told you, SQL exception is thrown by every line of code here. Every line of code here. Okay? So what you can do is, you want to wrap all of this with your try catch block. Okay? You can write finally without catch too, but typically what we do is, rather than rethrowing it, we want to handle it. Of course, I'll talk about some design issues with JDBC later. Okay, it will throw SQL exception. Okay, and then you can print the stack trace. If you want to print the complete information about the exception, you do not do this when you join the companies. You don't print the stack trace. You rather log that to a proper file. We'll talk about it when we talk about logging. Anyways, point is, I want to do a finally block. Later, probably towards the end of the class, not today, I'm saying end of the whole program, I'll talk about a better way of handling this one. In JDK 7, there are better ways to handle this one. I'll talk about it. But for now, until JDK 7, okay? So in finally block is where you need to close this connection. But before closing the connection, in fact, you need to close you have three important things from JDBC perspective that you need to close. Have result set to close it. You need to close your statement, you need to close your connection. All the three are important. Okay, and the order in which you need to close is exactly reverse order. You started with the connection, and from connection you got the statement, from statement you got the result set, right? Now what you need to do is you close the result set first and then close the statement next and then close the connection next. Okay, so you need to close it. Okay, Uma, you're asking a question, which step? I didn't understand that. Hello, Uma, you have a question? Okay, anyways.
Yeah, you said that
yeah.
there is no need to do this step. So you pointed to something. So I just
Oh, the first one, class dot for name, loading the driver. Class dot for name, the first step. This was the first step. We removed it. You don't need it anymore. This is how we used to do it before JDK 6. Okay, to load the driver into JVM. But now, in JDK, starting from JDK 6, what it does is it will automatically scan your whole jar file, finds the appropriate classes that implement the driver interface, and then register themselves as with the driver manager. So when you ask for the driver manager.get connection, it knows that there is a driver. There is a driver class out there. Here, this guy is already registered by then. Oracle.jdbc.driver, there is a class here. We don't need to know that. I'm just showing this guy. Okay? See this one? Public class oracle.jdbc.driver.oracle.driver implements java.sql.driver. So it looks for a class that implements this driver interface, and that's how you look at it. So there is a driver interface also. That's actually the first step, by the way. Anyways, you don't need that. In the finally block, you need to close the result set first. Okay, you just say rs.close like that. Okay, but how come I don't have handle to this one? Because I put all of these guys, these variables within the try block, and we don't have access to them in catch block or finally block. So you need to put them above the try block. So this is how we need to do it. Correction con equal to null. Okay, we initialize to null, and then we come here and then we say con equal to driver manager.get connection. So now we get the connection and then assign it to that con, so that this variable is available now in all the blocks is the main idea there. Okay, statement equal to null, and then we'll assign it. Similarly, result set rs equal to now. Make sense? Now, first close the result set, rs dot close. Okay? Next, statement dot close. Connection dot close. In the finally block, that's what we do. Now the point is, this close method also throws a SQL exception, meaning if at all I'm not able to close the connection, or if I'm not able to close the result set, if I'm not able to close the statement, if I'm not able to close the connection, I could potentially throw an exception called SQL exception, and that happens to be a checked exception. Okay? So what do you want to do? Well, ignore it, because You are trying to close the connection, absolutely, but something went wrong by then. Maybe the database is down or something horrible happened. What can you do? You can't do anything. Just ignore it. But from this point, you don't want to throw it to the caller if closing the connection or closing the result set fails. So what you do is just eat up the exception. We call it swallowing the exception, meaning don't do anything about it. Just don't do anything. But it is asking you to do it. Okay? I mean, it is asking you to handle it. Well, in that case, what we do is, we know it doesn't make sense to do anything here. Okay, if you fail during the closing of the result set, closing of the connection, closing of the statement, right? If it fails, it fails. That's all. Don't worry about it. And we swallow it, meaning we don't do anything about it here. Okay? This is how we do it. And nothing changes though, but we are closing the important things. This is when we use the finally block, and this is how we handle the exceptions. That is why I always say that when we come to JDBC, all the concepts that we learned will be combined together and learned. All this while we learn in vacuum. From this point onwards, everything is going to be linked. No more learning in vacuum. Every concept that you learned until today will be used starting from today. Got it? Same thing. This is how you do it. And later I'll talk about the ugliness of the JDBC, the interface itself. See, the SQL SQL exception. And then how many lines of code we are writing, a try catch, finally ugly. I will show you much better ways of doing it later. Not in JDBC, but we'll introduce later nice frameworks to handle all of this ugliness, called Spring JDBC template, Hibernate, etc. Okay? This is good from JDBC side. Any questions? I'll take the questions at this point. Is there any standard DB table? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, actually we are creating a customer table, right? Actually in this example we created a customer table.
Okay.
In SQL. Like that, is there any standard, I mean predefined tables?
Oh, predefined tables. Good point. There are predefined tables definitely in this system and sys accounts. These are master accounts, right? We know these are like your master, right? So here there are some tables. You can look at it. These are all DBAs typically use it. Oh, there is a table called help. Huh. Look at it.
Okay.
So use this. This is the table apparently. I don't know about it, but see, all of these are tables.
Thank you.
No problem. But we created our own schema and we created our own tables. So we have customers. We have orders table also. Now.
So basically we create the tables in SQL and then we access it in JDBC, right?
Good point, Uma. You will be able
only to create tables?
You can use JDBC interface to create the tables also. You can use it. You can use JDBC interface not only to select it. In my next example, I will show you how to create the data. How do we insert one more row? We have Yuri and Venkatakrishna and Uma. How do we create Shravan's record here? Let's look at that. Go ahead. Someone was speaking.
Venkat?
Yeah, so basically in the SQL.
Sorry. Go ahead, Uma, your turn.
In real time we'll use only JDBC or we'll use SQL also, like.
Good point.
For example, in this one we create a table in SQL and then we are accessing it here. But in real time, how do we do it?
Excellent
point.
point.
Both create and access here, or
excellent point. Excellent point. So we always create, or maybe always is the wrong word, maybe, because there is never always, right? 99% of the times we create the tables outside of Java, because you don't want to use Java application, because this is a one-time deal, right? Actually, developers create it and the DBAs are the ones who execute this one in production, and you never create the tables through Java application. In fact, you never allow them to create. I mean, Java, you can use JDBC though. Technology perspective, you definitely have provision to do that. No big deal. You can absolutely do use it, but generally we do not create the tables. But everything else we do it from JDBC. We select, we insert, we delete the data, we update the data, we do all of this DDL. Sorry, we do all of this DML. DDL is structure of the tables, right? That structure of the tables is always created or updated or maintained outside of the Java application. Did I answer your question? 100% of the times. I wanted to say 100% of the times, but
Yes, yes, yeah,
since there is no 100, I mean,
got it, yeah.
for some bizarre reasons, people may do it, in the Java application. Okay, Shravan, your turn.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah, the question is, see if your JDBC, I'm forgetting my own question. JDBC, I forgot.
Uma stole your time,
Somebody
right?
else go ahead. I'm going to ask. Oh yeah.
Uma stole your time?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. See, if I see every day you are updating that code Java to Feb 2015. Now, if I have to pull it from your area to my area, update everything, there's a way to do that.
Exactly.
What do? I first
Right
go
click
there.
and then update. Just do an update. That's it.
On that one?
And whatever the project
I don't have
that
to
you
go
have.
to your,
Yeah.
I don't have to go to SVN and all those things?
No, you don't need to. You
Just-
will go to
just
SVN only if
right
once
click.
shown.
Okay. Right click and update.
Exactly.
Now, yes, I tried that because you told me that day, but I don't have the update on my right click list of stuff.
Then you
When
are
I do
actually
right click-
doing it here, if I'm not wrong. You are directly doing in the repository. You're doing it here.
No, I've come back. From my
Then
own
maybe
place.
this is
Come back to my own place.
this is not a linked project. Ooh, can we take it?
After.
Yeah, after the class.
Yeah.
Any JDBC related questions?
So one thing I saw last year, I pulled out one of the projects that I did last year.
Okay.
And I think I executed that, but I don't see any JDBC 6, ODBC 6 in my library or reference libraries, but I see my junit.jar.
Okay.
Now, does it contain the same kind
No.
of support libraries?
No.
Support things?
JUnit jar file contains all the JUnit related stuff,
Only
unit
for-
testing related. So you need this one.
Okay. Okay, then how is it at all executed?
Probably, you tell me how. Any of you?
I don't know. I have to really test it
No.
out.
You don't have
Yeah,
to do
for
this.
a lot of.
There is one more way to do it, right? I don't need this one. I don't need the lib here. What I can do is go to properties here, Java build path. I can do an external jar files. I can go to downloads and then put this guy here directly here. You know what I'm saying?
Directly where? Directly where?
You can add without having to copy in the project shown.
Okay, where did you do that?
In the right click on the project, properties,
Okay.
and then Java build path, libraries, add external jars. External meaning anywhere in your in your computer. You can point to it, and then JVM will have access to it.
Maybe that's what I did last year.
Okay. So everybody understood how we connect to the database, how we get the data from database, and you understood the importance of exception handling. So every statement here every statement here throws SQL exception. So we need to catch it and handle it. And SQL exception, tell me, SQL exception is a checked exception or runtime exception? Any of you?
Runtime.
Okay,
SQL exception, my opinion is it's runtime.
good. Any other point? Okay, everybody's runtime, good. Checked. Oh, one other option, checked. So how do we say if it's a checked or runtime exception?
Checked exception will immediately tell you at the time of writing it.
Very good, very good, very
It will
good.
come up with a red bar.
Very good. So if you don't do it, every single line will say that unhandled exception type SQL exception, unhandled exception type SQL exception, unhandled exception type SQL exception. Is it a checked exception or runtime exception?
This is checked. Checked.
This is checked.
Exactly. It is a checked exception. So it is not runtime exception.
Let's see what you meant. SQL exception means. Let me see what change you did. Maybe I didn't understand that. Finally, okay.
I just removed that catch block. That's all.
Okay.
You can have simple try finally, right? I just removed catch SQL exception, and then compiler slapped me and say that, hey, every statement here. The funny part is, interesting part is, every statement here throws SQL exception, including my close. That's the most ridiculous part of JDBC, which I'll talk about it later. I mean, I'll only talk about good things about JDBC today, and later I'll come and we'll just slash this one and say it's
Okay. So you're saying, let me understand for myself. So you're saying that see, anytime I write a SQL statement, compiler knows that it's a SQL statement, and it knows that there would be an exception possibly, and it forces me to handle that. That's why it's making it a checked
Let me
exception.
put it this way. Every interface in JDBC, every method pretty much here in JDBC throws SQL exception. SQL exception is so generic exception that if you say driver manager.get connection, you let's say you fat fingered, okay, or your username password is bad, then you will get the SQL exception saying that sorry, I don't, sorry, I could not get you the connection. I'm sorry. See here, java.sql exception. This is Oracle number, Oracle invalid username and password, log on denied. Okay. If at all, 1522 port, right? See here? And it says that the network adapter could not establish the connection. Sorry, boss. I don't know what you're talking about, but there is nothing that that takes your connections on 1521, that listens on 1521, etc. So, or if I say customer underscore ID, my column name is bad. Okay, every statement invalid column name. This one is also SQL exception. If database is down, even then it's SQL exception. So if you're for everything, it throws SQL exception. And unfortunately, SQL exception is a checked exception that it forces you to handle it. Okay? You get it? So you could, this line of, this get connection method could potentially throw SQL exception if any of it fails. Create statement could potentially throw SQL exception. If it's not established, it's not able to get the statement for some reason. If something wrong here, star, my SQL statement is wrong, then also SQL exception. For everything, it does not differentiate it. That's the problem with it. That's the bad part of JDBC, that everything, one single exception, silver bullet. For every problem, same solution. It's bad design of JDBC. Okay? That is why there are a lot of solutions came into picture to solve these problems. But we will only talk about all the good things about JDBC today. Later I'll talk about all the ugliness of JDBC, see how much code we are writing and all that stuff. Okay, so this is how, anyway, this is how we interact with the database and retrieve the data from database. Okay, let's insert the data into database. JDBC insert demo. Okay, all of this is pretty much same code. Okay, connection, blah, everything is same. Connection statement, create statement, everything is same. So here we'll say that insert into. Okay, first let's build a SQL statement. How about that? And I will show you how to use string builder here. Okay, see here. And now string is immutable. Under the hood, a lot of classes get created and a lot of objects get created, etc. if you want to append something. Now, so let's use string builder. And I'm building a SQL here. New string builder. Now SQL dot append. Let's do it. Insert into customer, right? Values. It's all same, right? Now let's put the real values. Who do we put? Number 4. Number 4. Actually, we have to put it in the right. Okay. It will be appended here. Number 4, comma. Number 4, comma. And then shown, right? Okay, first name. We need to put it in the. We need to put it in the single quotes, right? That's how we insert rows here, right? That's how we insert the rows, right? Oh, maybe I don't have the statement. Okay. Shown, comma, last name. Shown last name, and then address. 321 shown drive. Then let's say Newark City, and then finally zip code 88888. Okay, and then finally there is no comma, and then we put that right. Now if you want to print the final SQL, you can just say SQL dot to. You can just say SQL, and it will print. It will automatically under the hood call C dot to string, and then it will print it for you anyway. Anyways, so we got the SQL now, right?
So what were you about to write?
Sorry?
Actually, I was a little curious. What were you about to write after that SQL? You were about to write something.
Two string.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to call this, because currently object is string builder, right? I wanted to convert that into string format, all of this append everything, okay?
But print out, that system out print will do that right away, right? Even if you don't use it?
Yeah, actually it will call, by default it will call the toString method on any object when you try to print it.
No problem.
Okay. So we are just printing just for our sanity check, just to see if we are good or not. Okay. Now all of this result set is not there. because we don't have any result set, because we are not querying really, we are just inserting the stuff, right? Okay guys, now so far we built SQL. Now we got the statement. Now we'll say statement dot execute. Okay, there is a different method called execute, and you provide the SQL query. Okay, you provide the SQL query and then it will give you, so executes, look at it, look at the Java doc here. It executes the given SQL statement which may return multiple results. This execute can be used for multiples also. If you want to be specific, there is actually different method called SQL update. You can use this one, execute update. And then this execute update, what it does is it will execute the given SQL statement which may be an insert, update or delete statement or a SQL statement that returns nothing. You can put the whole DDL also. You can do a create table here completely. You can even do a create schema also. You can do anything, okay, using Java. So anyways, what it returns is it will return an int here. Look at it. It will return how many rows have been affected because of this one. Meaning you may be running an update query, you may be running a delete query, you may be running an insert query. Okay, int. Here in this case, rows inserted, right? Meaning number of rows inserted. If at all it returns 0, what does it mean? That means something wrong with the query or something we put it wrong or something, right? So we will make sure that how the number of rows inserted are more than 0. I mean obviously 1. In this case it has to be 1, right? Rows inserted equal to, that's it. And then we remove the result set. We don't need result set. We just need connection statement. And then we catch SQL exception. All of this is routine stuff. Go ahead and rock and roll. Okay. So not enough value. See here, insert into customer. We got the SQL exception. SQL syntax error exception. That's a sub-exception, subtype of SQL exception. So let's look at it. So see here, insert into customer.
Give the column names, I think.
We are not given the state.
Sure.
The column names, I think.
Sure.
But you have to give the name. I think you have to name the columns.
You don't need to.
No.
You don't need to.
You
can. That's one way to do it.
Bracket close.
But you don't need.
Okay.
If you give in the exact
Bracket
same
close,
order, right?
semicolon.
See, I executed that whole query, and
Mm-hmm.
exactly Oracle is telling me the same thing. Hey, 00947.
But you put semicolon, bracket close, all those
Look at
things.
it.
You close the bracket.
Yeah. I think Madhavi found out, right? We know what it one is.
Yeah, we are not given the state.
Exactly. So
State we didn't give. Okay.
let's look at the customer, right? What is the order? Customer ID we gave,
second
first name, last name, address we gave, city, we did not give the state, right?
Okay.
So,
Good catch.
yeah, it's a good catch. New York, and then that's it.
Let's see.
Can't be it null. I mean, cannot take null
One
value.
record.
Very, very good point. I'll get there. Antenna, it can be. You don't need to. But the syntax that we are using to insert values into table is we are not giving any column names here. We have to give exactly every single one of them if you don't want to give you the columns, right? But if you want to give now, absolutely, you can do this way. Insert into customer of, if you want to do only customer ID, for example, okay? I mean, I know it will throw me an error saying that, sorry boss, first name is, because we made it all the not null, remember? First name and then zip. If you want to provide only these 3 of them, you can definitely provide it, but you need to use this kind of syntax. We have 2 kind of syntaxes, right? 5 and then antenna. first name, and then zip is 11223, like that. Did you get it? So if you want to make other things now, you have to use this kind of syntax. Of course, it will fail because you cannot insert null into customer last name because we made it not null. We put the constraint, not null constraint, remember? Anyways, you got that, and then we inserted this one successfully. See here, number of rows inserted is 1. Hey, now let's see. We inserted from Java application. Now we will try to execute here and see if we can see it. If this guy can see it. Oh, see here, exact same. 4 show on SL 321 show on drive NYC NY 888 888. Got it? This is how we insert the data. And now we can go and run the JDBC demo, this SQL again. Now we will get, earlier we got only 3 pieces of information. 3 rows. We only got Yuri, Venkat Krishna and Uma. Now we will get shown also. Look at it. Hey, we are getting shown details also now. Make sense? So this is how we insert the data. Now let's look at update the data. It's very, very, very similar.
Okay, one question before you go there.
Before you ask me,
yeah, okay.
Let me finish my chain of thought.
Okay. Sorry.
By the way, I wanted to let everyone know that we never write production code like this. Meaning, this insert into customer values for show one like this. We never do it. I showed you the most basic way of inserting it. We will come back and enhance this one. We will not do it this way. There is a much better way to do it using something called prepared statement. Once we put the parameterized prepared statement, things will look much better. Keep in mind, this is just an interim. Okay. Okay, so Uma is saying something here. When I do it, when you do it, everything looks cool when you do it, but when we try it, everything is complicated. Definitely, that's how you'll feel. Okay, and keep doing it. I'm sure you'll get there. You will do much faster than me, much better than me. So you guys are on the very, very right track. So keep doing it. We looked at insert. Okay, Shravan, I'll take your question now.
Yeah, the question is, see, you put execute update, right? Your execution of that insert statement used execute update.
Right, you got it.
Okay, now execute update, I don't know much about that. If you used execute, it would work, but execute update can take both insert statements and update statements?
Yes, execute update is a generic method on statement interface that can be used for inserting the data into database, updating the data into the database, and then deleting also. Okay, in fact, for that matter, you can use for anything. Okay. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Now let me show you how to update it. Well, update and delete pretty much they are exactly same. JDBC update demo. In the next class, I'll show you how to do it more effectively using prepared statement. Okay. Okay. Now we'll do an update statement here. Update customer set first name equal to, what shall we update? Shall we update somebody's first name? First name equal to show. Okay, where customer ID equal to 4. We probably don't need it. It's a straightforward SQL. So straightforward string, probably we don't
you
need
made a typo
string
actually.
builder also here.
Venkat, there's a typo error.
Mhm.
You made a typo
Yeah.
error. Show it reboot. Actually, it should be shown unless it's purposeful.
It was, oh, you mean this one?
Oh.
Yeah, this one I'm just,
Yeah.
you want to put it as a show off? Man, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
it's
Why did I put it in system out print line? I'm crazy. Okay, you can directly put it here. You don't need string builder for this one. It's a simple, straightforward. You're not building a complicated string. Rows inserted, yeah, you can change this to rows updated. Refactor, rename. Make sense? Okay, it's rows inserted, rows updated, whatever. So rows updated 1, that means it's been updated successfully. Now let's go and show SL. Got it? And you can use the delete exactly same way. It's you can use the same thing. Everything is same. You just put your delete from customer where customer ID equal to 4.
Oh.
It's exact same thing. So JDBC demo delete. Delete from customer where customer ID equal to 4, right? Same. Of course, rows updated becomes rows deleted. In fact, we don't need to, I mean, later I'll show you the code where we actually inspect this one. We will see if it's not 1, then we will throw an error to the caller. Okay. Now, let's go and look at, let's get the SQL. Select. Now let's see if Showan is still there. No, Showan is gone. We just inserted and he's gone. Right? We brought it back to this one.
So one thing we realize, we don't need to commit, right?
We don't need to commit. Good point. Yes, we don't need to commit. It's by default auto commit is true. So every statement as you execute it, it gets committed automatically. You got it. Okay. So was it too much today?
No.
Execute update method of the statement is executing and doing the update and return the number of rows affected. Yes. Unless you send to someone's private conversations. This one. So yep, that's what it is. Can I talk about the prepared statement also, or you guys are done for the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's something That will go with JDBC. Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah.
We can talk about it? Very good.
No, I think they're trying to say no.
Oh, let's stop it here.
No, no.
Okay.
I was saying that if it is, I think it will go with JDBC, right? So it's better to finalize this one, and I think next time we are going to start DO, right?
Right. Yes, I'm going to start DAO, but I think I should be able to cover both DAO and this one also. Don't worry. People
All right.
are exhausted, so yeah, go home and practice it more. Now, let me check in the code. Whatever we did today, from here onwards, I will create a separate, for each topic you will see a separate project. JDBC Feb 2015. In fact, I don't want to call it Feb 2015. I want to be as generic as possible, but there is already one. So I will clean up later. I'm checking in right now. So you should, all of you, from your machines, you should be able to get it. Okay.
Say again?
No, I'm saying from your machines now you should be able to get this
Be able to get
this code.
Got it.
Oh, not yet.
Now the only
Now.
the only thing I would do is after you're finished, I'll ask you why I'm not getting that update. Then I'll be able to get it.
Okay. So
3:36.
let's look at it. So what I want all of you to do I want all of you to get this project right now and see, if you're running into any issues, then I'll show you how to do that. So
This project means the core Java Feb 2015, right?
no, I'm saying JDBC Feb 2015. I want all of you to go get that, if possible, right now, so that I can help you.
So that's in trunk.
We-
Right? You have to go there.
Yes, I'm only going to spend time with Shovan and Madhavi and anyone else if if they have any doubts. If nobody has nothing and everything is cool, then you can leave also. So let me make you present to Shovan. Let's talk about your problem.
Okay. Well, see, first of all, I went to get this JDBC Feb 2015. This is what you want me to get.
You got it. Yes.
Right. That is just pure checkout. I don't have any problem. It'll happen in a second. But the issue is not that, oh, I should have given in the background. Okay, let it go in the background. The main thing
You can
is,
still click on it. Yeah.
yeah, this one is bugging me. Yeah. So I'm here. Okay. It's basically, we are talking about updating this guy.
Which one?
Right click.
Which one?
See what I'm saying? The main question was,
Core
why
Java
I'm not able to.
Yes.
Yeah, when I'm right clicking this, I don't see any update.
Team update.
This thing.
Shovan.
Team.
Sorry, you missed that. Team.
Okay.
Everything related to Subversion is in team. Exactly.
Okay, I didn't know that actually. That's the part I missed. Okay,
No problem.
got it. That's fine. Thanks very much.
No problem. Okay, let's look at Madhavi's issue also, and then
Yeah.
Madhavi. So earlier,
I don't know where is my SVN subversion. Can I share my screen, please?
yeah, please share.
Okay. Okay, 1 minute. Can you see that?
Yeah. Show me. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the foreign key thingy. Madhavi?
Yeah.
Is this yours?
Yes.
Earlier you were asking me about the foreign key, right?
Yeah, but now I have problem for the version. So
Oh, okay. So first
that
let's
is,
look at the subversion. Absolutely.
yeah. I couldn't see here before that. Here is a version, but now there is a Spring
Can
and
you give
Java,
me the
but not
control?
here.
How do you, okay, if I say everyone, right? Not only Madhavi. So how do you go to a new, what do we call that? Perspective. How do we go to the new perspective? Do you know how to go to new perspective?
Yeah,
Windows
Windows
Exactly.
preferences.
preferences.
Not preferences really, I think. Close it. Close this guy. I'll tell you. Window on the top.
Show view.
Window. Open perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, open password, right. And then other version will stop.
Go to other.
Right? So,
Then where go?
This way. Go down.
go down.
Go down.
This one?
Yeah.
So why are there two over there?
Okay.
That's it. You got it.
But okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Do what is that? JDBC Feb 2015.
This
Yeah.
one.
Right click. Check out.
Check out.
Everybody else managed to get it?
Let me see.
Finish, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Uma,
You know, I
everybody
get
got
that
it?
one over there, background, and came over.
Yeah.
Uma, Sekhar,
Yeah,
Sailesh,
just
everybody.
check, yeah.
Okay. That's it. Okay. Now let's talk about that foreign key quickly.
Yeah. 1 minute. No, actually, I solved the problem.
Oh,
I create the other two tables and then the problem solved now.
cool. Okay, good. Any other questions from anyone?
Venkat, if you have a minute, I'll show you one thing. If you just see something on my screen,
Absolutely.
I'll ask you a quick question about
Yeah, let's talk.
it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
You can. See this program over here. Can you see it well enough? I'll make it a little larger.
No, I'm good. Tell me. No, this is
See
good.
this? You're good, okay. See, there's a program. I basically modify this program and do a lot of work. See, there's this mapper. See, this is basically an extends and implements. This class is doing that. But there are 4 variables over here. How is that possible? It's a mapper. It's basically implementing some map class, right? Map generics collections, right?
No.
Can there be something
No.
like this?
No. This one has got nothing to do with Java map shown. You look at this one. Org, Apache,
Somebody
Hadoop,
wrote
map. What is that? MapRed.mapper.
MapReduce, yeah. MapReduce base.
What is that? MapRed?
MapReduce base, yeah.
Okay. Oh, MapReduce.
this
Yes. I'm sorry. MapReduce.mapper. Exactly. So there, when you create mapper of something, and something. So when we say list of string, right? Here, mapper of something. I don't know what that one is, but I don't know this API,
Okay,
right?
interactable. That's their own wrapper class.
Exactly.
So that means this is their own stuff, right? I'm just implementing that here. That means it is something provided by the Apache. It is Apache's own class, right?
Exactly.
Apache's
Exactly.
Okay, so just making sure whether I'm understanding right. Okay.
But this
I
is
got it.
off. Mapper off. The taking four types. Those are types, right? Like list of, right? Our map takes key and value. Remember?
Key and value.
Right.
Yeah.
Similarly, here 4 things. I don't know what those 4 things are, but it takes 4 things. If we know,
Okay.
if we read that API, it will tell you what the long writable is, what is the second text is, what the third text is, what is the fourth text is.
Okay, got you. Actually, I just wanted to make sure that whether I'm not understanding right or something. I work on this, but I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
And seeing this word map, I thought that it might be something to do with map collection class, but it's completely different.
Exactly.
Okay.
Ours is Java util map. So. Okay, guys. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.